I knew it was going to be my time.
It's good! The new wins in Charlottesville! Bang from downtown!
This is the place that I fell in love with basketball.
Grateful for the university for trusting me and leading this program into a new era of basketball.
Regular season champs and now the ACC tournament title champs. Congratulations.
We got more to do.
Welcome to ACC Tip-Off, presented by T.Rowe Price.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the Hilton Uptown Charlotte Live in Charlotte, North Carolina. It is the ACC Tip-Off Men's Basketball Day 1.
For their fourth straight winning season, hanging out, playing some video games. More than a game for Red Autry, looking to get Syracuse.
So I know earlier today we had the
this season. Coach Young and his crop ready to rock and roll here in Charlotte. Virginia Tech going to take the podium today. And Hubert Davis on the phone, always wheeling a deal in there in Chapel Hill. He's in Charlotte, and so are we. For the ACC tip-off, the men's version. Matt Schick, Luke Hancock,
welcome.
Joel Berry, who I believe had 5 churros for lunch today.
At least.
Almost called you out. That is
Hey, sounds about right. That was a great start to my meal.
I know we watched this earlier today.
We're going to hear from a half dozen teams today, 12 more tomorrow. So we're wading into the ACC waters here today. Your time here as a player, this time of year, ACC Media Day, the tip-off, talking to the media, everyone's undefeated. How you feeling?
This is like a little reward because this time of year you are battling it out. You're trying to get acclimated with your new team. There's so much new stuff going on, especially in this transfer portal era. But when you get to come to something like this, like you said, nobody's lost any games. Coaches isn't yelling at you for a little bit. You just get to come and enjoy it, get fired up for the start of the season.
Yeah, and it signifies the next step in the journey, and you're getting closer to being able to tip the ball off. And I think that's very exciting for a lot of the players. For me, I mean, to be quite honest, you don't want to have to answer questions all day. Let's be real. I mean, some of these guys are probably like, why am I showing up today? But it's the signification of now you're getting ready to get close to that first game and ready to tip that ball off and put together all the things that you've been working on in the offseason.
This is an exciting time of the year. It's an exciting time of the year for players, for coaches, for programs. But most importantly, this is an exciting time of the year for this conference. Because if you think about last season, they've got to put last season behind them and move forward. How do you do that? By making investments. Your investment equals your expectation in the game of college basketball today, in college athletics across the board. And that's just the way it is. There's a cost of doing business. And the ACC, and you saw the coaching changes. In the old days, they used to ask about facilities. Today, when there's a coaching change, and Matt, you know this, they're asking about what is my NIL? What is my rev share? What do I have to work with so I can rebuild my roster? And to the credit of the ACC and to credit of the administrators, they've given these coaches, there's only maybe 6 or 7 right now, that are over $10 million in rev share or collective to go out and prove their roster. So to me, as a coach, as a program, but most importantly for this league, this is an exciting time of the year.
You got to spend money to make money, and you have to do that to get wins. And certainly these storylines coming into this season, all indicative of the investment that the ACC is making this season. Again, running it down. A lot of things to catch up on. The ACC with 4 new head coaches. Will Wade at NC State, Ryan Odom at Virginia, Jay Lucas at Miami, Luke Laux at Florida State. And as you mentioned, Seth, as NIL grows more and more prominent, the transfer portal becomes more of a focus for teams to replenish that talent. The ACC bringing in 12 transfers ranked in the top 100 in the portal. We'll get to those. We'll hear from some of those players coming up. They also kept an eye on the up-and-coming talent. Nearly a quarter of the ESPN top 100 high school recruits ended up committing to an ACC school. We've seen a lot more of these conference matchups as well with these teams. In fact, there was a change this past offseason. The ACC moving to an 18-game schedule to accommodate for the larger conference as a whole, but also to make room for non-conference action. for these teams as well. Again, we told you 6 teams are going to take the podium today. We'll talk to the players, talk to the coaches. The other 12 coming up tomorrow. We've got Georgia Tech, North Carolina, Pittsburgh, Stanford, Syracuse, and Virginia Tech. We had all of those storylines. What does that signify to you?
It signifies a resurgence for the league. I mean, you mentioned 24 of the top 100. Then you got to add in this international flavor. I mean, we have tons of prime-time athletes from all over the world that have decided to come and be a part of the ACC brands. The talent level has gone way up, as Coach mentioned. Resources are a part of that. But I think especially with these 4 new coaches, you've seen these guys get outside the box a little bit, be innovative. That's what you have to do in an NIL and transfer portal era. It's not the same old stuff. I know I played 10 or so years ago, feels like 100 years ago. It's a totally new environment, and you got to give a ton of credit that the ACC has stepped up, because initially I didn't think they embraced NIL the way they should. Kudos to getting that done this year.
And sometimes, it gets ugly before it gets pretty, and I think that's what it has been for the ACC here in the past. You realize, Coach, you laid it out perfectly. You have to have the resources, and then you have to be able to go get the talent. And I look at the portal. It's not about just the talent. It's about going out and getting the pieces that fit what you want to do, and that's what the ACC has done. And I think a lot of times when we look at the international in the past, these guys have gone directly over to the NBA. Now they're kind of seeing this as a stop shop for going to the NBA, and I think that has just opened up a lot of resources and a lot of things for these programs. So I'm excited for the ACC. You look over the landscape, there's so much talent, and there are so many guys from all over the place. It's not just Division I, but Division II, Division III, NAIA, all over the place, and that's what the portal does for you. But it's about, at the end of the day, going out, getting the right fit, and getting winners.
The model changed. The model changed for building and rebuilding a basketball program. Because of the portal, because of pay for player, NIL, whatever you want to call it. But with the model changing, you've got to be progressive. Now, the league was behind the curve. Let's be honest. SEC was ahead of the curve. The league was behind the curve. The league has just caught up. But I think what you just said, Luke, is really important. The coaches have caught up. Back in the day, you try to recruit the best freshmen you can, develop those freshmen, retain your best players, and then build your culture and your program. Today, you saw what happened at Louisville this past year, what Pat Kelsey did. The timetable has changed. The timetable has changed. Every single coach who just took over a new job, all right, they're looking and saying, look what Louisville did. On the other hand, the coaches in the league are also saying, look what Louisville did. Look at their model, all right? Multiple year transfers. Older, stay older. Develop players. Fit the system. And I think that's what the league has really done. They've given them resources, but the coaches are looking at their model and their roster construction and saying, all right, how best can I utilize this revenue, and how can I put together a roster that gives me a chance today, not a year from now like in the old days, but today to be competitive. Pat Kelsey set the model. I think the other coaches are going to follow it.
You can flip this thing overnight, especially, you think about it, when a coach gets fired, another one comes in, you think, oh, we got to rebuild, and it's going to take a few years now to get our guys in. It can happen like that, and that's what 4 new head coaches are hoping will happen here in the ACC. 4 new head mans. Luke Loucks, the new head coach in charge at Florida State. Luke takes over for the legend Leonard Hamilton. Prior to this role, he was an assistant with the Sacramento Kings. Meanwhile, at Miami, Jay Lucas is the Hurricanes' new head coach. Considered one of the best recruiters in the country, played a very key role in getting someone by the name of Cooper Flagg to come to Duke. Virginia fans, very familiar with Ryan Odom. He grew up in Charlottesville. His dad, Dave, was an assistant with the Hoos in the 80s before taking over at Wake Forest. And Ryan may or may not have upset Virginia many years ago. And then there's Will Wade at NC State. Wade has reached 7 NCAA tournaments at 3 different schools and is now the head man at Raleigh. Which one intrigues you the most?
Oh, what a question. I mean, they all have really intriguing storylines. I mean, Luke Loucks as a player, 2008 to 2012, he's a young guy bringing NBA experience. He's got all the energy, all the way up to Will Wade and the storyline of how he gets back to NC State.
He don't care, man.
Is he afraid to poke the bear?
He was ahead of the curve. You're talking about being ahead of the curve.
Yes,
he
it was.
And you think about, we're talking about it, and it's a tough question because they all seem to be raising the tide here. They're all really good hires.
I would say the most intriguing one to me is probably Coach Lucas down in Miami. I know that the conversation about never being a head coach is what it is, but the guy has been around great head coaches. And when you're a prolific recruiter like that in the era of NIL, you're going to get that influx of talent.
And he grew up under the tutelage of one of the great teachers in our game, in his dad.
Yeah, I think too for me is Jay Lucas and then Will Wade. To your point, being ahead of the curve, Will Wade, he's come in now, and then I think the biggest thing was how he was able to flip Darion from going from Texas Tech and seeing these other players or seeing these other teams, and he's able to come in and get established that right away in the transfer portal, and so I think that speaks to who he is. And it's intriguing what he has brought in around Darion Williams as well.
And Matt Abel is the real deal. They got a late edition that's really good. I'm biased because I got to go with my guy Ryan Odom, my former roommate. When I was an assistant at Virginia, I lived with the Odoms. I was on the bottom of the bunk bed. He was on the top for about 3 weeks. Success everywhere he's been. He bleeds Virginia, and he understands everything that place stands for. He is the perfect fit for Virginia. And a little bit of a different style.
And he gets teams to have success immediately. Within the first 2 to 3 years, it happens. It's going to happen this year.
They are good.
Yeah, they're going to be very good there. A lot of great players, a lot of great coaches that we will talk to here at ACC Tip-Off. We are moments away from talking to a pair of Tar Heels, talking about retention and newcomers. We got one of each for the Heels. Jim Phillips, commissioner of the ACC, will address the media. Mike Young, Virginia Tech, and a couple of Stanford Cardinal basketball players as well. Gieler and Opara are going to be with us. Coming up next, they're here, right behind us. Seth Tremble and Henry Vassar are going to be with us. Quite tall. Quite tall. We will talk to them about the season to come next. That's right.